A New York City resident was either the victim of an incredibly polite thief or the beneficiary of a terrible good Samaritan, depending on your point of view. New York Post reports that Riley Flaherty lost his wallet during a February 5th Wilco show. He went to Wilco? Wilco's does those shows.
See, now he probably attracted that.
Right. Wilco show in Brooklyn. According to NBC News, he would typically be the last Flaherty saw of the wallet. Then a miracle happened. Well, a sort of a miracle, a very New York miracle. 2 weeks after losing his wallet, a plain white envelope showed up in the mail. He opened it to find his driver's license, credit cards, and a note. Flaherty thought the note was bizarrely honest, but he posted it to Instagram. Here's the note. Quote, I found your wallet and your driver's license and had your address, so here's your credit cards and other important stuff, the note reads. I kept the cash because I needed weed. The Metro card because, well, the fare is $2.75 now. And the wallet because it's kind of cool. The note was signed Toodles from Anonymous.
That's the best.
I've never been so conflicted about a nice gesture, Flaherty says. Whoever found the wallet was apparently kept Flaherty's $10 Barnes & Noble gift card and a loyalty card from his shoeshine business, too.
Oh, my God.
He speaks to the New York mentality. I'm going to be nice, but there's going to be an asterisk.
There's a price. But for a price, you know.
He's already replaced the license and cards by the time the note came in the mail. But it wasn't a complete loss. After hearing the stories, the venue where he lost the wallet offered him free tickets. I'm sure for the next time Wilco ever does a show.
Right, he gets free tickets to the next Wilco show.
Oh my gosh, that is the greatest thing
That
ever.
is the best. Hey, it's the Bill and Jason Show. I'm Bill, that's Jason.
Yeah, and if I ever find your wallet, I'm buying weed with it.
And it's Freaky Friday.
What? It's not Friday. Is it Friday? It might be Friday. Depends on when you listen to the
It's
podcast.
Friday somewhere.
Well, and it could be Friday, depending on what you attract, right? We were talking what were we talking about last week?
A great segue.
About how thank you. I attracted a fine segue.
I can't wait to hear how you put all this together.
I have no idea. We were talking last week about things you attract and how, whether it be, whatever you attract. I think,
We're talking about service, like the kind of service that you attract.
Last week it was service, but I mean, I think you can create that by, it's what I believe that what you get is what you kind of put into the world. It's a karma idea. There's a lot of ideas around it, but I mean, if I'm going to be grouchy and be angry, and I'm sure that I'm going to have bad service wherever I go, whether it be a car wash, a convenience store, a restaurant, or a massage place, I mean, that's what I'm going to get because I knew it before I got here, and of course I'm going to be proven correct. And I think that a lot of people that deal with that, or people that complain about that kind of stuff on a regular basis, they get it because that's what they decide they're going to get. They get bad. Hey, I can't sell the people my business. I'm trying to, I got my DJ business. I'm trying to do weddings, and these people just don't understand me. They don't understand what I have. They don't get it. That's their problem. Well, yeah, you have proof of it. You attract that kind of thing, as opposed to knowing that you're going to connect and find a way to make it work. Going into it with an attitude of positive, an attitude of success, attracting abundance as opposed to scarcity. There's a lot of ways to look at it, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. So what do you attract? Like, let's look at that. So when you're driving down the road, how are other drivers for you?
Well, it honestly does depend on how I never thought about it this way before.
Well, don't analyze this. This is just a quiz.
I'm not analyzing.
This is like a Facebook quiz.
It isn't like this every
Live.
time. But if I leave the house irritated with the fact that it's going to take me a while because there's traffic, I promise you, it will take me as long or longer because there will be traffic.
So
I will
you
find
created
proof.
traffic.
Right.
You said, there's going to be traffic. It's that time of day. There's going to be traffic.
Right. But if I go out saying, hey, I'm going to be there in a few minutes. It's going to be a great drive. I'm going to hit all the lights. I do. Now, whether or not that's my imagination or not, I don't know that that's actually true. I mean, it sounds kind of like, like those people who go, oh, you've been watching The Secret. I don't know if that's true either. I mean,
The Secret is about the law of attraction.
It is. It is the law of attraction.
In a sense of how it works.
Right.
Not much in the way of instruction on how to make it work for you, but it is
Right.
It is a good introduction.
Right.
To it.
Well,
So,
I can. It's much easier. I think. At least it feels like it's easier to attract the negative parts of my life, though,
so
than the positive.
What is it? So when you go driving, do you run into lots of bad drivers? Like, are you always like, are you cut off, or people, rude? Like, you're
honestly,
finding yourself like having to deal with drivers, like, oh, why? What's with these people?
Yeah, when and usually that's if I have a complaint about driving, that's what it is. I got people. What the hell is wrong with you? Come on, another texter? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Oh, whoa! What are you doing? If it wasn't for all these people, we wouldn't have so many accidents.
Yeah,
that's probably the number one complaint I have about driving is everybody else's attitude, or not caring, or being bad at what they do, or driving too fast, driving too slow, not watching. Yeah, bad drivers.
Okay, so what about when you go to a restaurant? What kind of service do you usually get?
I get good service.
Just good? Do you get great service?
Yeah,
all the time?
No, I'm sorry. Yes, I do. Every time? No, it depends. If I go in a bad mood, I'm almost positive. I can. If I had to go back and look at it, if I could rewind it all, if I go in with a bad mood, irritated and annoyed, that's the kind of person who's going to be at my table. Or they're not going to come in time. They're not going to be fast enough. They're going to bring me cold there'll be proof that the world sucks. And of course I sat down in a bad section with a waitress who wanted to leave. I attract that because of the mood I come into. And I didn't know that either for the longest time. I used to think that, it's just, that's the way it was. I just, it's really, really rare to have a really great server.
Is it really? Is that your experience?
That was for the longest time.
Oh,
yeah,
it was.
It really, really was, until I started to realize that was something that I chose. That's what I chose walking in. I was going to prove once again that I never get good service. That no matter how hard I try, I sit down in the worst servers, and that person's going to be having a bad day, because and that's what my experience of it, because that's what happens to me.
Yeah,
that's me. Not as much anymore, because I get this. I get the fact that I can create a wonderful experience with the person that's bringing me food or washing my car.
You have an opportunity to generate other people. Even if you're not directly talking to them on the roads. Like when I drive, I virtually never deal with bad drivers.
Yep.
Or I'm that guy. That's cluelessly, happily tooling down the road, making people like you insane. That could be. I don't know. But it's like, I don't get cut off. People make space. People let me in. I'm just like, thank you. People pull out of parking spaces right when I pull up. I have amazing parking karma. And that's consistently my life. And the parking karma is even transferable. Just ask Robert Huggins. He kind of, I told him that at the very beginning when Robert Huggins is
DJ in Australia. Really amazing.
And I had
our own personal Jedi.
I got to stay with him for a week and find out what the Aussie Jedi lifestyle was like. Which is awesome, by the way. And I said, I have this parking karma, so you're probably, because he had street parking, and I said, you're probably going to find a place close to your house all week. He's like, on my street. No, parking's really hard to come by on my street. I'm like, well, we'll see. And by the end of the week, he was like, you know what? I just noticed that I've had a parking space within a few feet of my front door all week. Like every time I come back, I'm like, see? It really works. And so it speaks to how you generate other people. Again, like if everybody is awesome to you when you meet them, not like, well, let's see how they are. Let's see. Like you're waiting for them to be a jerk, or you're waiting for them, they're going to show up however they show up. If they show up and you're generally like, hey, you're awesome, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm awesome. There's like a whole communication that happens. A whole, thing in the universe that happens. You know what I mean? There's like some kind of communication that's a connectivity that goes beyond just what we're saying and stuff. Or it's like things going on behind what we're consciously perceiving, which is probably that too. Like the universe thing is more fun, but whatever.
I agree, and I think that's and when we try and when we're talking about the people who come and listen to our podcast, people in the DJ business, the things they worry about, or the things they talk to me about when they call about, I wish, my customers understood me. They came looking for one thing and I'm another thing. They just don't get it. They, I just have to educate them because they just don't understand.
Right.
Yeah, I think that speaks to that as well. That speaks to how you generate the people you're trying to tell your service about. Generating the customers that are going to come to you. The money that's the venue you have to deal with. Walk into a venue and you go in there thinking, well, they're going to be the way they always are because venues are jerks to DJs. Or create that there's something else there. Create and generate them as a great collaborator, someone who knows you, likes you, respects you as you do them, and that works. It really, really does. And I know this to be true. You know this to be true. And those DJs who've reached out to us around these problems find it to be true, and we start having this conversation with them.
Yeah, well, and that speaks to your listening. Like, if you are always on a mission to find out what's most important to whomever you're working for, working with, like, what's most important to this caterer? What's the most important? You get that, you're like, oh, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're awesome now. Because, like, you really actually did something that only a small percentage of people do, which is took the time to, like, really get what was important to them.
Because you're generating that what they have is important.
Matters, right? And exactly, same with your client. Like, if you're sitting down in a sales meeting and it's putting your effort less into, I got to get them to like me, and more into what's really, really important to you. Because then they'll tell you, and once you get that figured out, then they're going to be like, you'll be like, oh, that's no problem. I'll do this and this. You will? Did you know that's just what's important to us? I did.
Every time,
you
baby.
told me.
Right.
Oh, wow. Right. But people don't experience that because that's not the norm. You want a differentiator? There's a huge differentiator.
Absolutely. And now, what are you generating out of this? What are you going to generate when we're done here? Have you generated people to be something extraordinary, or even yourself? Tell us about it in the comments.
Has that been your experience?
Reach out to us on Facebook. Go to BillAndJasonShow.com and subscribe to the podcast. Plus, this is an audio podcast. You can find this out on iTunes and all the little aggregators. And by the way, that's the 4th time in my life I've used the word aggregator. So
it's everywhere.
Proud of myself.
Now I'm going to one-up him. It's even on BitTorrent.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We get
paid for Bitcoin.
I thought that was an even more elusive term than aggregator.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you next week when we hone up on some new words.
Bye.
Broadcasting from high atop planet Earth at a rate of 96 kilobytes sample per second over the interweb in an effort to stop glorifying being busy. This has been an entertainment experience production.